In the center of my table, which I had about 3 tables, I have shelving on all of it, but in the middle, I put that bear there.
Oh, okay.
And then I put shelving on top of it. It just left it there. You know, I put $1,000 on it, because that's what my friend wanted for. And I just love watching the reactions. I mean, there was this one little girl that she'd walk by, she'd look at it, she'd walk away, she'd come back, you know, and slowly but surely she'd go over and straight, just about ready to touch it. And then my buddy that was with me decided to growl, and she takes off. I mean, it was funny, but it was kind of cruel.
Oh, it looked like a nice head mount anyway.
Yeah.
It was attractive.
And it had like saliva around its mouth, so it actually looked real.
Oh no.
And of course, I was reading them a story about teddy bears.
So you really enjoyed doing that?
Oh yeah. For a job, I could get a job in New York City doing windows, because I'm very meticulous on how I set up my tables when I did shows. Because if I didn't set it up a certain way, I didn't make as much money.
Yeah.
And my mom couldn't understand that. After a while, when she'd go to shows with me, she'd just sit down after we brought the stuff in and let me set it up. Because I would just go back and wherever she set stuff up and move it. So it was easier.
Well, it does make a difference as far as attracting people, I can imagine.
Oh yeah.
Now, I noticed that the toy show, I wanted to go to that because I know you used to go to those toy shows. It's on the 17th and 18th of January, I think, this year. And you went to those for years, didn't you?
Yeah.
And how is that? I mean, was that pretty well attended and everything?
Fairly well. You know, and I like them. Even if I don't sell anything, I mean, it's just going there and talking to the other dealers and that. You know, maybe I find some good buys.
Entertaining.
Oh, yeah. Always. I mean, I had people with me that, you know, they were helping me in that, and they'd look at people and they couldn't tell anything. I'd look at people and I said, well, that guy's going to buy. This guy's just looking. And, or I'd say that person, he's not going to buy right now, but he's going to go around to all the other tables and come back. You know, and he'd look at me like, how do you know this? And I said, just his body movement. I could tell him. And sure enough, the guy went around and came back and they bought what he wanted.
Interesting. Do you think that your DECA education back in school gave you any help as far as what you've been doing through your life?
I imagine it had some usefulness, but I had been in the antique business since I was probably about 13, 12 or 13, when this antique dealer took me under his wing. He was the most crookedest antique dealer I ever saw, but I mean, I learned a lot. His idea, he would buy these reproductions of pedal cars, the old-looking pedal cars.
Oh, pedal cars, yeah.
And then he'd bury them in his backyard for about 3 or 4 months, and then he'd sell them for the real thing.
Oh my gosh. So, looked like it was used and old, huh?
Oh yeah.
Oh my. Now, when you used to go, did you go all around after you got to Montana? You'd go to Wyoming and other places to shows?
No.
You didn't?
I've never been to Wyoming.
Haven't you?
In fact, I went to Canada enough to drive in, and then they turned me around.
Really? Why?
Because I was a convicted felon.
Okay. So you didn't get very far there.
Well, I could have gone into Canada if I would have lied.
Yeah.
I mean, but they asked me, I said, yeah. I mean, I found out from some of my other friends who had criminal past. They said, oh, we just say no. And they just let us through.
Okay.
You know, but because I was honest, they sent me back.
Yeah.
But I've never been out of Montana.
So not even to do toy shows or, collectible shows anywhere?
No.
No?
I wanted to,
Okay.
you know, it's just never got to it.
Alright. Did you, where did you go in the, I think it was the week before Zachary disappeared? You put like 500 miles on a rental car. Where did you go then?
That was
Long time ago.
96. I probably just drove around town. I mean, going to antique stores and stuff like that. Since it was winter, I wouldn't have gone to garage sales. I might have even done some newspaper deliveries.
But would you use a rental car for that?
Well, since I didn't have access to a car, and
So you
I had to get around. Plus, it was awful cold that time, too.
Not like it is this year, huh?
No.
So warm. We got a little snow this morning, but it's, you know, it's been cold, but no snow anywhere.
Right.
At all. Let's talk a little bit about Bridgewater again.
Okay.
Some of the reports out of there said that you spent a lot of time thinking and fantasizing things, and they mentioned electrocution. Did you have fantasies about shocking people or electrocuting people or anything like that?
No.
No. So you don't know where that came from?
No.
Not at all. Okay.
I know a lot of the history that they have is stuff that they created themselves. Because the only way they could get me committed was they had to make up a story. I mean, I wanted to be committed.
Yeah.
I don't know what they told the judge or anything to get me committed, but I mean, I had to beg them enough to get them to do it.
Okay. And you were glad that you were there instead of the prison. You went first to Walpole, is that right?
Well, I was at Walpole and I was at Concord, and
Okay.
I wasn't really too impressed with either.